projecting much, Andrew Hammond? Didn't they teach you? Isn't the first principle, the first rule of journalism, is to remain objective in your reporting? What? You didn't get the memo? You weren't taught that anywhere in journalism school? Modern journalism? Oh, that's right too. That comes through academia, doesn't it? Right? Government-funded institutions, right? Central planning entities. So I guess, yeah, that's gone on the wayside. But yeah, that used to be what it was to be a journalist. Used to be the most important thing was to remain objective. Andrew Hammond seems to want to misconstrue and somehow amalgamate genuine journalism with, well, that's what most media pundits and personalities do today, is journalism. Let's mix genuine journalism with propaganda and tabloid sensationalism. Throw that all together, and that is the kind of news you get today. There's no objective standards involved. There's no high standards of morality or objectivism. The headline of this article alone will tell you that. Ready for it? Ready for it? Here we go. Headline by Andrew Hammond, contributed to the Globe and Mail. Well, hello. Between the CBC and Globe and Mail, like I said before, they're in a competition to see how far they can stick their fucking tongues up. The lefties, the collectivist personalities in Canada, right? The Liberals, the NDP, whatever. Well, even in Canada, even our so-called conservatives are considered progressives or Harper. I mean, like, yeah, there's no genuine conservatives in Canada, not in a political party, anyways. But yeah, listen to this headline. Why the world wants Clinton to win. The world wants Clinton to win. Really. Andrew apparently asked the opinions of 7 billion people, and 7 billion people agreed that they want Hillary Clinton to win the American election. Even though only a small fraction, 320 million of that population, of the world population, the global population, are Americans or would even fucking be paying attention to this shit or whatever. But anyways, either way, even if you put the global stage and spotlight on it, do you honestly believe a headline like the world wants Clinton to win? Even if they believed there was a majority, that still wouldn't mean, even if it was 51-49, 53-47, 60-40, 4 million or 4 billion versus 3 billion, I don't know, 3.51 billion versus 3.49 billion, whatever. This fucking asshole Andrew Hammond, the headline, the catchphrase article, the tabloid headline is why the world wants Clinton to win. That's done for a reason, folks. Propaganda is very powerful. People will click on this article, people even like myself will click on this article. Why? Is to at least read what kind of bullshit are they trying to espouse and promote. And he'll get his wish. You'll get lots of, clicks on an article such as this. But all you've added to is division and dumb it down on the masses. I mean, if you want to talk about, that's the thing people want to talk about, oh, capitalists are so evil. No, fucksticks like this are evil. Because his paycheck relies on dividing and misinforming and propagandizing the masses. So you can get pissed off at corporations all you want. But this is one corporation, the Globe and Mail, that I would fucking rightly be behind you or beside you and going against. Not because they make a profit, but because they use that profit as a means to send a narrative that dictates and controls the narrative that the rest of the lowly masses hear and adhere to. Because most people, I get it. You're supposed to be the leaders, and you lead them down the fucking road to hell, aren't you? Andrew, you piece of shit. Andrew Hammond is an associate at US or LSE, yeah, ideas at the London School of Economics. So he's talking about economics, but yet he's gone total political. See, this is the thing. The separation of church and state, even though that was a false pretense because the state is just another kind of a church, another ideology, another religion. But the separation of economics and the state is what really needs to happen. Because some fucking idiot from a school of economics, what the fuck? Why would anyone even pretend or report to fucking paying attention to what his political leanings would be? You know, you could be a mechanic, doesn't mean you're a fucking professional lawyer, right? Duh. After a wild 2 weeks of the Republican and Democratic conventions, the U.S. election campaign proper is now on. The convention season will be remembered most notably for the selection of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton as the first woman to become a presidential candidate for a major political party. This is a massive moment in U.S. history, particularly coming so soon after the 2008 election of the country's first black president, Barack Obama. And that was done on purpose. You know fucking damn well, because no fucking normal human being would be even trying to fucking put any weight or effort behind these fucking collectivist movements if it wasn't for the fact that they're appealing to demographic groups. That what they're using the divide and conquer, and they realize that, hey, there's a lot of black people that will support Obama because he's black, which to me is so fucking stupid. Stop using race as your only fucking reason for supporting somebody. God damn it! And now they're going to try to use the sex. So race, now sex. I mean, like I said, sexism and racism. Who promotes that the most? Media pundits and politicians. That's who fucking promotes it first. When out in your daily fucking duties or out and around and dealing with other people, when are you seeing this promoted and espoused so rampantly? You're not, are you? But from your mainstream media fuckers, your political pundits, they're using sex and race as a means to an end, to divide and conquer. But yet, that's supposed to be the things that they rail against, right? Democracy is supposed to be all against that stuff. Like I said, come on. I mean, the truth has been revealed so many times nowadays. I don't know how fucking anyone, other than the fucking fog and the mess that these political propagandists stir up. I mean, come on. I mean, even with all that fog, even with all the distraction, even with all the noise, most people should at least be able to see that there's a big, gigantic fucking flashing arrow saying, propaganda, 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 propaganda. Lies, 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 lies. The only people that aren't seeing are the ones that are closing their eyes and looking away. That's it. That's it. When it's staring you right in the face, if you don't notice it, you're doing it on purpose. You're trying to ignore the reality of the world that you live in. While Ms. Clinton had the lead in numerous recent national polls over Republican Donald Trump, the outcome is far from sure in what will likely be a brutal negative contest, but the world wants her to win, and if foreigners were allowed to vote in November's election, she would prevail by a landslide. Are you just trying to... First of all, I mean, that's complete fucking bullshit. It's a baseless premise. You'd have to actually make that happen before it would have any sense of legitimacy. But even espousing that, I don't believe that to be remotely even close to be true. Because the rest of the world, the onlookers, don't have any skin in the game. And they recognize and acknowledge that, yeah, fuck, Hillary's just as fucking evil and vile. Worse than Donald Trump. At least Donald Trump. And like I said, I'm not a defender of either or. But he is not part of the political establishment. He is not the one that has been creating all the rules, the divide, the conquer, the monetary manipulation, the central planning, all the laws. You know, all the things that have been such a detriment that has given rise to such populist candidates such as Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders. Clinton is part of the establishment. I mean, these newspapers are just trying to keep that narrative going to keep it entrenched and part of the system just that much longer. Miss Clinton was the standout winner, for example, with some 20,000 people in G20 countries, including Canada, according to a poll by Handelsblatt earlier this year. Among the G20 countries other than the United States, the only one where Mr. Trump bested Mrs. Clinton was Russia. That Miss Clinton would win in a global contest against Mr. Trump, despite the reservations some hold about her, partially reflects bigger concerns that many foreigners have about the billionaire businessman's fiery rhetoric and policy positions. It is no coincidence that the G20 country where she received most support was Mexico, which Mr. Trump has widely assailed as part of an incredible proposal to build a border wall. So once again, yeah, the propagandists, they're trying to, I mean, polls and all these shit. I mean, it's just more propaganda, people. And yeah, I'm not even going to give the rest of this article the time of fucking day. I've read enough. You know, you've heard the headline. You've heard the kind of espoused bullshit that's put forth in it. And I'm not going to give them even one iota more of credibility by wasting fucking even 10 seconds more reading from this article. But this is the kind of propaganda that you're being presented with. And I'll make a video soon about the fact that revelations are coming to light now from actually a former conservative hack in Canada about the reality of how easy it is to manipulate media in this country. When you're the central planners that have all that power, of course you can manipulate the media. And they'll either follow along to get along, to keep their jobs, or they'll have the force of power of government come down heavily upon them. So it's either get in line or get at the back of the bus. And most media personalities don't like being at the back of the bus. So they'll fall in line and espouse the kind of propaganda that central planners try to promote. That's the truth. That's the reality of the world you live in today, Canada. It's Canadian Libertarian. I love liberty.